Hi everyone, back again. What we're going to do, I'm going to put these in first, pop these back into the bumper here, and then I'm going to wire these into the light buckets. These lights, incidentally, are the ones that I recommended in previous videos. The FTX out back bumper light set, FTX 8180. They're about, well, they're dirt cheap. They're nothing, less than a tenner, and nice and bright, super reliable. They all run off one. It runs off one servo plug, and it's got a sort of split joint in the middle. So you get two reds, two whites. You know, basic stuff, but it's dirt cheap, dead reliable. Highly recommended. Right, so the lights are in. I've done the bumper lights and the chassis. That was easy. Just screw them back into their little retaining clips. This is fairly standard stuff. Obviously, with a split in the middle. Obviously the servo lead's going to come out the middle, roughly the middle of the truck. These are slightly longer at the back than they are at the front, so there's a little bit more. It's a little bit further near the front, like I guess most rigs receivers are. Alrighty, so here she is with the headlights on. Headlights and the bumper lights in there. Tail lights are. I've turned the studio light off as well, so it doesn't look. So they're a little bit less bright. Yeah, so we've got the tail lights in. The light bar, of course, works on command permanently, but as you can see, it's not, to me, it's not the brightest of lights. Right, everyone, welcome back to the next installment. And what we're going to be doing in this chapter is the interior. So it could be quite a long one. I might break it in half if I need to, but it could be quite a long one because basically there could be a lot of faffing around trying to get this stuff here in here, and then the whole thing in the truck. So yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to go, to be honest with you. What I'm using, as I mentioned at the beginning, I think in one of the early videos, this is the Hobao. I can't remember, is it Habao or Hobao, something like that. This is the interior for their 4x4 crawler, which looks a bit like a G-Wagon as well. So you get an interior set, which is dirt cheap. I wish I'd kind of bought I was toying with the idea of buying the seats as well, because it comes with a sort of a seat bucket arrangement. But I'd already got these Killerbody racing seats meant for the MC8, but in the end they didn't fit. The driver didn't fit. These fit in the cab, but the driver didn't fit them. So with Natasha here being a little smaller, we've looked at this before, but if I just put that together with Natasha being a little smaller, petite, you could say, she actually fits into them, like she was meant to be in them. Right, so the first update, I've just had a quick test fitting in the shell, and yes, everything is a little bit too wide. The windscreen on the truck, if you can maybe just see there, the windscreen on the truck is quite high off the bonnet, and you see the step to the side window. So if I put the dashboard in so that it's kind of just below this, you're going to see the side of the dash in the passenger and the driver's window. So, you'll be able to see this section, this element of it here, sticking up above the passenger window and the driver's window. So, to make it fit, obviously my first reaction was just slice it off at the end so it fits in better, but I can't do that because it's hollow, and if I slice the end off, you're just going to see a hole. So, what I've done instead, and I may regret this, is cut it in half just by the center console. So I'm then going to take this bit and I'm going to shave off 2 or 3 millimeters. That's really all it is, a couple of millimeters, and then glue it back on again. Okay, I'm just wrapping it up here. Progress, obviously a fair amount of scrag ends snipped out, but the interior tray is now a better fit. So I've cut a bunch off the back, I've cut a bunch off the back, so there's virtually no back bed on it. Cut a bunch off the front. I've also trimmed the sides right down so it fits in to roughly where I want it without distorting the sides of the rig too much. There is still some pushing out of the sides of the rig as it goes in and out, but certainly acceptable amount, just for a bit of a tension fit. Now, that's the kind of position, kind of height I'm going to want it. Yeah, looks about right. So that's, yeah, pretty good fit so far. Obviously the front seats are going to come out, and the whole dash panel, steering wheel section is going to come out as well. So the fit will be modified slightly as we go. Now, I'm not going to pick it up because it's curing, but let me just move the camera instead. So what I've got over here is, there we go, is the dashboard resealing. So I trimmed off a bunch out of the gap, and then I've glued the two halves back together again. So there you go. So that's progress. Next up, it will obviously, I'll just continue with the seat installation and hacking of the dashboard out. And then once it's all sort of roughly fitting, I'll have to get it, start the painting process, and then get it finally fitted up and touch up any paintwork after that. Hi, and here we are, the finished items. We have the seats installed. They're just basically thinned down on the base and screwed on top of the seats that were already moulded. I'm not going to try and take out the pre-moulded bucket seats. They were too much trouble. So these are just basically sitting on top. It's all been primed. It's all been sprayed a top coat of black. The dashboard here has come out really nicely. Lots of detail. The joint that I put in, you've just seen drying off. Yes, it's still a bit visible, but in the end, I'm going to put something on the top there to cover the top joint. You can see, so we won't see that through the windscreen. And the rest of it really is black. It's dark. It's not going to be that obvious. I'm not going to bother clarting around finessing it. You'll also notice a small addition in front of the center console. I've put a little bit of a false floor on there with a gear stick on from an axial accessory set. There you go. So that's the front dashboard kind of done. Yeah, my little gear stick there. It's probably half the trouble with this is I don't know whether it's going to be in the right place or not when I get it all set in. So that's we're going to be a bit not quite sure where that's going to be in relation to Natalie's hand, but we'll see. Let's hope it's pretty close. The interior tray is as you saw it last, with the seats two-tone at the back, the bucket seats in, black paintwork and so on. Obviously, Natasha is in. I've got a little Costa coffee cup, a Starbucks coffee cup there for her, which she's protecting, and she's a pretty good fit in there to the wheel, and yeah, the whole thing kind of has worked out pretty well. I'm quite pleased to say. She still has her legs, so that's a first. The belts went on no problem. Obviously, this is glued on in various places, at the back and the underneath, of course. And with her, it's tied in. So they're really long. These seat belts they give you. I've got lots of spare bits. Behind her seat, it's all tied in with knots. It's not glued in at all. She's secured in with a bit of twist wire, black twist wire cable, which hopefully you wouldn't see when she's in position. So I can, if I need to, take this interior out, as I have. I'm only taping it in to the interior. You can see the mud and the dust has already started accumulating on the tape. So it can be removed. It's a bit of a faff, but it can be removed. One thing I haven't done is put a false floor in here, so I may yet do that. You can, through the sunroof especially, see the bottom of the truck and the ground through this kind of gap in the footwell. So I might address that if it continues to bother me, but it may not. So I may. Yeah. So the door mirrors are held in by, they've got little push-in buds, I suppose, little push-in clips, but they've also now got two big screws that go through into the dashboard. So the dashboard is held in with those 2 points either side. Okay, you can't, it's really difficult to see. I'm certainly not going to take it out again now. But you can maybe make out the steering wheel in there, which I've done a kind of wood effect on. And really all I did with the dashboard was just put did a bit of dry brushing so you can see the details through the windows. I'm going to do a separate video altogether of the truck and the review and how it's kind of, how the first run went, basically. So thank you for watching, thank you for bearing with this whole series. It's perhaps not gripping, but it's just a little bit about putting together a new project and finalising it. Hope you found it interesting. Thanks guys.